Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast. Presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh from MitsuTimes. Today, my guest is Aaron Bain. He is the owner and driver of one of the cleanest 10-second 2Gs out there. How you doing today, Aaron?
I'm good, and that the clean comment kind of isn't true anymore, but it's getting there.
Well, it takes good pictures, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we're good at that up here, that's for sure.
All right, Aaron. Well, it seems like you've been doing a lot of racing this summer, so let's talk about the setup on your car.
So right now, I converted over to a fuel tech this winter, and we've been kind of sorting the bugs out with that. And it's a typical DSM combo with rods, pistons, and an FP black with HKS 272 cams. It's been fun for a couple of years. The fuel tech's definitely been a learning curve.
Yeah, I heard that it takes some getting used to.
Yeah, it's quite wild actually. I opened the program for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't know what to do.
So, Aaron, thinking back about it, what was it that made you choose the 2G?
So this is actually a quite funny story. My dad had two 1Gs when I was probably 99, so I was probably 4.
Okay.
And I remember, one of my first memories is going up. We have a cottage up on a mountain, and my dad was driving alleged speeds, and I always remember how fast and how fun those cars were. And then when I turned about 18, I wanted to get something all-wheel drive. I was looking at Subarus at the time, and my dad was like, well, I think it's time you buy a Talon. And then that's where it went from there.
Heck yeah. I love that. I love that, your dad kind of got you into them, and you kept doing it.
Yeah, it was cool. My mom always drove, because we had a red and a black one, and she always drove the red one, so it was quite cool growing up.
Heck yeah. So what was this car like when you bought it, Aaron?
So I bought this car. It was bone stock with 170,000 kilometers on it.
Oh, wow.
It was probably 100,000 or just under 100,000 miles. And the only upgrade it had done was a typical K&N filter from the 90s.
Okay. Pretty clean interior, or was it pretty ratty?
It was everything was all right except for the driver's seat, which looked like it got chewed up by a dog.
Oh man!
But it was the all leather, the best options you could get, basically in '96. And I proceeded to rip it up and make it a race car. But
well, did you have any goals when you first got it that you were going to race it, or you was just planning on to kind of driving around like your parents did?
So it was supposed to be a winter car when I got it.
Okay.
The paint was shitty, and it wasn't super nice looking. It had some of the typical 2G rot, and then I got it painted, and then it slowly progressed into just a cool street car.
Okay.
And then I blew the motor up for the first time. And then it all progressed from there, really. Typical, exhaust, intercooler, stock T25. And then it just got a bearing, so.
But, are you still in the FP Black now, you said?
Yeah, I'm still in the FP Black.
Yeah. So, you, really haven't strayed too far, and you're getting a lot out of it, so I think you definitely got your money's worth.
Oh, I think so too. I got that turbo 6 years ago, and it's been through a motor, and I'm very happy with it.
Heck yeah! Well, Aaron, you started telling us a little bit. Tell us about some of the setups you've had on it that you really liked.
So my favorite setup was the 16. I had a 16G on it with a front mount and an exhaust. and some like a 90s Apexi blow-off valve. And I think that was the best setup for the street. It made like 350 wheel, and it was on like a K1 Wiseco setup. And it was, I feel like if you go over the 350 threshold mark on the street, it starts to get not as fun.
Yeah.
I found. And then I went to I switched the turbo to an FP Black with an FP manifold. And then I blew that motor up. I think one of the injectors failed. So I melted through a piston. And then got real serious about it and did a fully built short block with the 272s in it. And but yeah, I'd say that the 16G is definitely where it was the most fun on the street.
I think the 16G is too often slept on by some of the newer DSMers. They go straight to a T3 or something, and they need to work their way up through the bolt-on turbos and just feel how fun they can be.
Oh, I agree, man. I feel like people that buy these cars nowadays want to like shoot for the demon and go as fast as they can, but
right.
They're just a fun all-wheel drive like street car.
Yep, that's why we see so many part outs.
Exactly.
So let's talk about breaking into the 10s for the first time. Was that on the FP Black?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
So that was a challenge for me. I got it tuned at about 5:30. Got to the track, blew the center diff out the first outing at the track. That was fun. And then I put a 4-spider into it. And then the next pass, I tore out third and fourth gear. And then I proceeded to put another transmission in it. And the next year, I slowly chipped away, 12.1, 11.9, all the way down. And then finally ran a 10.8 because I picked up. So I went up to an 11.4 on street tires.
Uh-huh.
And then when I went, I finally, I got a drive shaft diff. And I think the stage 5 axle stick broke the axles on the hard tire.
Oh.
And then got a set of slicks. And within, I'd say, 10 passes of just learning the new tire combo, I did a 10.8. And it slowly chipped down from there. But that 10 was definitely a long-awaited process.
It's like the universe makes you earn it.
Well, yeah, you run that 11.0 so many times.
Yep.
Never expect the 10 pop up.
So, Aaron, you think after all that, you would still start over with this build and do everything the same?
You know, it's funny. I think about that often. And I feel like the way I always wanted a race car.
Yeah.
But that was always the end goal of like getting into cars. I always wanted like a drag car. And if I bought one now, I would likely go right to the setup I have now and not daily it and not street drive it. But prior to getting heavily into drag racing, I'd probably go the same route.
Okay.
You got to learn.
Yeah. Well, heck yeah. I definitely agree. You know, it's one of those things where even if I could, I had the money right now to build an all-out race car, I probably would just build a fun street car again.
Yeah, it takes it away. Once you put that 10-point in, man, and I have a Kirky in it, and it's not fun to sit in anymore.
Yeah.
The windows don't really roll down, and it kind of smells bad.
So what does the future look like for you in this car?
So the future looks like I just put a Magnetrail 750 in the car because I was fighting with some fuel issues with the fuel tech. So I put that in. I hope before the end of the year that I'm in the 9-second range.
Heck yeah.
It should do it. It ran a 10.4 at 144 miles an hour. So the mile an hour there is just me trying to drive the thing. That 1-2 shift is difficult.
Oh yeah, yep. That's why I went auto many years ago.
That's probably the smart way, but I'm looking at pricing out a dog box, so
yeah, that's
can't give up on running gears.
Yeah, I think that's if you want to run 9s consistently, I think that's what you're going to have to do eventually.
Yeah, but like I'd really like to do it on the stock transition just because it would be a cool.
Yeah, I mean, plus why not? You might as well.
Yeah. Exactly, it's held its magic in there for so long.
So what about how's the? I know this is a little off topic, but how's the DSM scene up there in Ottawa?
So it's really good. So Jason Drew and like Nick and from Terra Parts Canada are fairly close.
Okay, cool.
So Ottawa and Quebec are close enough. But I only race in Quebec, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I believe I'm going down to the SSPA event in a couple weeks with Jason and all those guys. So it should be fun.
Heck yeah. So what about?
It's good. I think there's a couple local guys.
Yeah, and it looks like Jim really puts on a great event. I mean, I definitely got to make it up there to one of those. It looks like a good time.
So I haven't been there yet, and this is going to be my first time. But from what I hear, it's like a mini shootout.
That's
all the
killer.
DSM guys will show up.
But with more French.
Yeah, you might not be able to understand what they say.
Yeah.
We all speak the broken DSM language, right? Yeah, I don't speak a lick of French either, so it's interesting up there. Once you get to like northern Quebec, where they don't really speak a lot of English.
Yeah. And you know, all those guys up there that do the SSPA event, they're just killer dudes. I mean, they'd take a part off your car if they got eliminated just to help you out.
Oh yeah, it's a really good scene up here. Like, doesn't matter if it's a Honda or if it's a DSM or shit, even a domestic car. They're helping you make the rounds no matter what.
Yeah, good deal. This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by NRG Ops. NRG Ops is a veteran-owned and operated company with more than 10 years in aftermarket automotive support, ranging from 12-volt accessories to performance modifications and even part design. They are dedicated to getting or building you the best and some of the most unique parts available. You can be assured that everything sold from NRG Ops are only products that they would use on their own personal vehicles. They've worked with many vendors, manufacturers, local businesses, as well as big-name companies in order to perfect their craft and design some of the best products on the market. Check out all they have to offer at nrgops.com. So I know, what about, when does the season end for you guys there? Probably October-ish or what?
Yeah, there's been racing in like very early November, but it's usually the end of October that kind of cuts it off. It gets too cold up here really quickly. Like in December and January, it's fucking minus 30.
Yeah. So we know your goal for this year is to crack that 9. Do you have any goals for next year?
So I'm actually I believe I'm buying a new shell. Mine's getting a little bit too rough for my comfort, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And I'm making a deal with Nick to use one of his shells and get kind of a cleaner example.
That's awesome. Nick's a great dude.
And then, oh yeah, I agree. He builds really good turbos too.
Yep. Shout out Turbo Parts Canada. You need to check them out.
Exactly. I was actually one of his first turbos.
Oh wow.
We started building them. Yeah. I've known Nick a long time.
I love hearing his story about starting in a shipping container and expanding to what he has now. It's awesome.
Oh man, I remember being there when I first bought my 16G from him, and I was holding a flashlight with no heat. The fucking storage container freezed to death as we switched the wheels around. Like, it's great what he's done.
Yeah, for sure, and he's only getting bigger.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to do some work on the FP Black this year, or next year, sorry. So
awesome. So what what about long-term quarter-mile goals, even for your new shell? Do you have a number in mind that once you hit, you're going to be like, all right, that's what I've been shooting for, and now I'm just going to, try to just make rounds and not keep pushing it?
See, that's a hard thing because at first it was the 10.
Right. It keeps
right?
moving.
And I cracked that 10.8. I'm like, oh, that was cool. Okay, do I sell the car now, or what do I do? And I was like, it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, do I just keep going, or do I stop?
Yeah.
I'm like, turn it down and only run like a high 10. But, I'd love to see a 950 out of the car. I feel like that would be a very achievable goal,
Yeah.
and it would be competitive up here with the, in the SSPA and stuff like that. I also kind of want to try to dabble in some no prep stuff and see how the all-wheel drive handles it.
Yeah. That's getting really popular.
Yeah, it's definitely getting more popular up here as well. We have a couple tracks that do it, so I might throw my hat in the ring there and see if I can win some money.
Yeah, good deal. I think, do you know Sebastian? I think he's starting to get into some no prep stuff up there.
I believe I know Sebastian. I know of him at least.
Yeah.
He seems small enough, right?
Yeah.
And then I hope to make it to a shootout eventually.
That would be awesome. We always love to have you guys.
Yeah, I wanted to go. I've owned the car for almost 10 years. I've wanted to go every year, but it just never lines up.
Yeah.
But the World Cup and then it being so close now, it'd be even more difficult to kind of figure out with work, but I'll get there.
Yeah, especially you can't really plan out a year in advance because you don't really know the date until a couple months out, really.
Yeah, exactly, and you never know, the car could blow up the first pass.
Right. Yep.
And that's what kind of holds me back is teching in if I don't tech in, and I'm like, oh, I just drove all the way down here for nothing.
Yeah. Many people have done it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they have.
So, Aaron, you've been, like you said, you've had this car for quite a while, and you're pretty familiar with its in and outs. If someone out there, they're listening, they bought a 2G, or maybe they're just getting started on their build, what advice would you give them for their build?
I mean, the right answer is don't do it. But the maintenance, everyone preaches it, but it's so important.
Yeah.
I wish I knew it when I first got my car. That don't worry about anything power wise. Just do the maintenance and make sure the car is running well. Because man, I had so many stupid issues. When it would rain, the alternator didn't work, or when it would overheat a little bit. And just do the maintenance, change the oil, and you'll have a great car. They were built well, but they were built well 30 years ago.
Right. I think you said it best early on. Just enjoy the thing.
Exactly. Low horsepower in quotations is still fun.
Right. So, Aaron, have you had any other Mitsubishis in your life that you want to talk about?
Besides the two my dad owned, I actually haven't.
Okay.
The 2G Talon was the first one I ever got, and it kind of sunk its teeth in.
Yeah.
Real deep, and then I've always wanted to I've always been fascinated with the Colts and stuff.
Yep.
I feel like a cool project would be all-wheel drive swap a Colt.
I got a great one for sale if you need one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys don't get much snow down there either, so it'd be clean.
It is very clean. It just needs a new owner.
That makes sense. You have a lot of Mitsubishi, the weirder stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I had a storage unit where I was hoarding some what I would consider unique rides, but the guy who was renting me my storage unit sold it, so now I have a yard full of cars.
Isn't that a dream?
A little bit. I don't know. Luckily I don't live in a neighborhood or anything where people can get mad at me, but Yeah. I just need to thin it down a little bit.
Well, yeah. The dream is to own a fucking lot of land and just fill it with a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I just need more land.
Yeah.
Build some more outbuildings.
Yeah, I need to move away from people. I got on the two-step a couple of days ago, and the neighbor fucking thought it was World War III. So.
Yeah. So what events can we catch you at for, you said the SSPA for this year, possibly. What about even into 2024?
So for the 2023, I plan on making the rest of the SSPA events.
Okay.
And we also are holding a event up at, it's called Luscville Dragway. And it's basically on like this side of Montreal.
Okay.
Trying to go back in there. And we do like a streetcar shootout thing where we run each other for like the best times of the nights. And it's a good deal. It's small, like, you could almost call it like an outlaw track, but it's sanctioned and everything.
I mean, it must be pretty good. It's where you ran your PB at, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The car holds up to 1/460 foot, so the prep's pretty good.
Yeah. A lot better than some places.
Yeah, exactly. In 2024, I truly plan on making the shootout, and then maybe a couple. I'd love to do like an IFO or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know how close we are to us. The drive always gets me.
Yeah. What would be the closest one? Probably Michigan?
I think so, yeah. Detroit kind of scares the shit out of me, so.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Like, I've been there a couple times, and it's wild crossing that bridge.
Yeah. I've never even been there. It just looks scary on TV.
Yeah, definitely stay lower in the States. It's less sketchy.
So what about, Aaron, where can people find you on social media and take a look at this thing and maybe even take a look at your new shell?
So I have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's fairly dead now, but my YouTube, Instagram, and I have the Facebook page. It's all under A-Bay Gold. So
okay.
A-B-A-Y Gold. That's where I post most of my stuff on Instagram now since it's easier.
I guess that would explain the gold wheels, huh?
Exactly. I used to have really, when it was just a strict street car, it had very, very flashy gold wheels on it.
Okay.
That's where it kind of came from. Kind of dabbled in that show car thing for a little bit, but going fast was too fun.
Yeah, for sure. I can understand that. I know. I feel like when the first Fast and Furious came out, I was like, oh, I built a show car, and then I realized everyone in my town was really fast. And, okay, well, maybe not.
Yeah, that whole Kentucky scene is wild, eh?
Oh yeah, especially. I mean, not so much now, but when I was in high school, it felt like everybody had fast 1Gs around here, and oh man, you could just go to like the Walmart parking lot on a Friday or Saturday, and people were there to meet up and race. I mean, it felt like a scene out of a movie, and it's not like that anymore. Which I guess thankfully people are going to the track and stuff. So
yeah, I think like especially up here, the cops are so bad. Like our stunt driving laws and shit, even like exhaust laws now. Like it's almost not worth it.
Yeah.
Even driving on the street.
I think even you guys not having access to ethanol is,
we
really
do not.
puts.
I get my ethanol out of a barrel, so no pump 85.
Yeah, that really hurts your modification chart.
Plus our gas sucks.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's not good. And before I went to E, it was like pump gas on methanol.
Uh-huh.
And then I ran like Q16 for a while, but like pump gas it's always hit and miss up here. That's
a shame. So what about, Aaron? Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out or a thanks to for help getting your car where it is?
There's a lot of people. like to give a shout out to my girlfriend that she puts up with it. I'd like to give a shout out to HP Auto up in Quebec. Dan put this motor together and it's been running strong for 5 years. BR Tuning is who tunes the car. And I'll throw another shout out to Nick there for building good turbos. I'm excited to see what he comes up with.
Heck yeah. Awesome, Aaron. Well, hey, thanks so much for coming on here and telling your story. I love that, getting the big names on here is fine, but I also like to hear from the people who, are just doing everyday builds that everyone else can do and, how they're doing it and how it's holding up. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here and do this.
Not a problem, man. It's the grassroots that keeps it alive, right? So.
Absolutely. But, all right, Aaron, thanks again, and I'll see you at the track.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.